Hi, I'm Construction Gamer and this is Transport Fever 2. Urban Games have very kindly let me have an early access key so I can have a look at the game before it comes out on the 11th of December. I've taken a bit of a look at the game so far. I put out 2 episodes yesterday. One was just a very quick let's first look at some of the gameplay, and the other one was a preview of a map that I've been working on for a brand new series. I've been using the brand new powerful map making tool to make a bespoke map for the series, which possibly might start next week. But before I get into the actual new series itself, I just want to familiarise myself with some of the new features excuse me, in the game, and see how it's possible to make money within the game. In the first playthrough that I did have a food production line going. I had 2 towns connected up to a food processing plant, and I was finding I was struggling to make money a bit, so I've started a brand new game on medium again, just to play around with what's the quickest way to make money. Because one of the things which I will mention early on is the maintenance of different things. So if we bring up our panel here, and in the past in Transport Fever 1 we've always paid for maintenance of infrastructure, so your depots and your bus stops and your things like that you have to pay for. I think these are slightly more expensive to maintain than they were in the past, and remember each of these ones is a quarter, so it's not a full year, so we're working in a quarterly rotation. So that's one thing that's a bit more expensive, but the other thing is road maintenance costs. The thing I did in my first playthrough is I just went in as if I was playing Transport Fever 1, and I built a whole load of roads just to create bypasses and things, and I was finding that I was paying a heck of a lot to maintain roads, and it was eating into my overall profit. The other problem as I had was not all the trucks were going out full from the farm or from the food processing plant, so again I wasn't maximising my income, considering I was paying quite a lot for the road maintenance as well. So what I've done for this one to try and make money a bit quicker is I've set up some bus lines. So I've got 5 towns connected with 4 bus lines, and I am just using the infrastructure that is there. So I haven't built any new roads. These are all the roads that the game has built. I'm not building anything like that for now until I'm making a bit of money. So I've got on these 4 bus routes and they are turning a profit. Let's have a look again at the income. So last year we made 200,000, which isn't too bad. Before that was 265, which is pretty good. I mean, it's only 1904, so it's not actually too bad at all. The other thing that it eats into your profit is, if we bring up the line statistics, bring that up, and then if we go to configure vehicles, we have a new feature which is the maintenance for all vehicles. So you can actually set the maintenance regime. You can have it as base and you just pay the base amount of maintenance, or you can set it to high or very high, which adds plus 50% to the maintenance cost. But it does mean your vehicles will run for longer, and it also means, especially as I've gone straight into 1900, we've got petrol powered vehicles and they do create emissions. So if we bring up the emissions panel, no, that one, that's the emissions panel, you'll see all this red here is the vehicles which have petrol engines which are creating emissions, and if you had your maintenance set to 0 or just to the base maintenance cost, then these emissions would be slightly higher. So the more you maintain the vehicles, the less emissions they produce overall. If you've got diesel or petrol powered vehicles, you can never eliminate the emissions altogether, but maintaining the vehicles does help to reduce those emissions as well. There is no option to set an auto replacement, I don't think. You've got replace all vehicles and that's it. So you can replace all the vehicles with new ones, but there doesn't seem to be an auto renew. So I think the maintenance of the vehicles, the higher you set that, the longer they'll last. So if you set that, I've set that to 25%, and I think it just means they will last a bit longer, so you won't have to replace them so frequently. Might change. This is obviously this is an early access game, so this might just be something that's not in the game yet, but yeah, for now there isn't a auto replace of vehicles. That seems to have been replaced by the maintenance of all vehicles. So making money with buses seems to be quite a good way to earn money. All the buses usually, well, they're not buses at the minute, the little vehicles seem to be full on both the outward and return journey, which is going to help maximise your profit. But again, Transport Fever 2 is different from Transport Fever 1, as in the passengers waiting seems to bring itself into a sort of equilibrium, I guess, with the service that you're actually providing. With Transport Fever 1, I've had train stations which have had 300 people waiting, which they would never hope to get on the train because it was always coming in full, but the passengers would just wait there for forever, or until they got on a train. With this doesn't happen. If passengers are waiting for too long, they will leave your service, and so far it does seem to be in a bit of an equilibrium. So we've got, as a bus comes in, there will be hopefully enough people waiting, but it doesn't seem to be always correct like that. But I've got a bit of a bunch in here, I think. No, that's a private vehicle. But yeah, so you won't get any situation where you'll have loads and loads of people waiting for a station, waiting for a service that they'll never hope to get on. It will sort of balance itself out, and it seems to have done that quite well. I did have, when I initially set the very first service, which was the Richmond to Uckfield, I had about 25 to 30 people waiting here, and that gradually got more, and I increased the number of buses that were on the line to try and meet that demand. But obviously these have only got 6, so you couldn't really hope to meet all that demand. But it seems to have, it's tailed off now, and it's just gone back down to 6. So yeah, like I said, we've got a bit of a balance going on where there's only the number of passengers that can be served waiting at the stations, possibly slightly less at times. It depends how regular your services are, and the impact that this has on your towns is quite significant. So at the minute our station quality is very good, so that's alright. So that means we've got a good regular service into the town, and people in general are happy with the service, and the number of people who are using it are happy with it. What can happen is if you're not providing a good enough service and people are trying to turn up to the bus and never getting one, then you will drop your quality of your stations, and that will have a negative impact on your town growth. So that is a big thing that we have to take into account now. I mean, our growth is target population 130. We're at plus 20, so yeah, we're growing 20% faster than the target population. So I guess if this dropped down to very good, or from very good to good, then we possibly get -10 or -20, which would wipe out our population growth. So it is a big thing that we need to take into account. The emissions, there's not a lot I can do about those. We do have to have the bus depot in the middle of the town in order to serve the maximum number of people. You can do things like with commerce or industry, have the freight yard as far away from houses as possible, and then have like a bypass coming in to the town to reduce those emissions. But yeah, it's just something you have to be aware of. I think mediocre is about, in 1904, is about the best that we can hope for now. But it is a big factor of the game, these different metrics here, which you have to take great care to look at. So we've got a good public transport, is the destinations that can be reached is 352, so we've got a plus 20 on the growth. Private vehicles plus 20, so, and the emissions minus 20, so overall we've got a plus 20 increase. So everything is, the game isn't completely radically different to Transport Fever 1, but there are just little different mechanics and different economy things that you just have to take into account. But as for making money, so far I am finding, I've only got it on ×1 speed at the minute, that we are actually making a good little profit off of this. We could do with paying down the loan a little bit, because that's taken into our overall profit. But I think what I'll do instead is, while I'm here, I'll just set up a quick bus line. So I've got a bus depot in here, but they are quite expensive, especially when you start to take into account demolition of properties. So what I'm going to do instead is, if we go into buildings, we've got passenger buildings, we've got a bus stop or tram, I'm going to put one there. You got a little tiny arrow which shows you the direction of travel, which is handy. I'm going to plop that down there, and we are going to get a new line in from Richmond down to wherever this is, Queen's Road, where is it? Maidstone. So it's Richmond, Maidstone, like so. Have I got a depot anywhere near? I'm going to build one temporarily because they are expensive. If we just look at our road, maintenance of infrastructure, £26,000, so we'll put in a depot actually, good experiment. Chuck one in, where's a halfway point? About there. Chuck that in there, and we'll start buying vehicles. So buy vehicles, we want 2 of these, and we're going to set that on to Richmond, to Maidstone, see how they get on. So we'll push the game forward a bit, let those disperse. They will go off in opposite direction, so it is handy to have a depot in the middle of the road. Using the road infrastructure that is already there, I could possibly make things a little bit more streamlined with some other roads and things, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the road infrastructure that's already in place, just to minimise our expenditure overall. So I've been playing, I've put 4 routes in now, or 5 including this one, so I pretty much know the situation with regards to how many vehicles to put on. So I'll just put on another 2, like so, let those disperse while it auto saves, and then I'll put on another, probably put on another 4 altogether. We're just helping with the unbunching early on, so it just helps to reduce the bunching overall and just speeds the unbunching process up. You can already see we've got people have seen, oh, there's a brand new service, great, so there's going to be a bit of a rush, I think, to use this service, and they'll all go, oh great, we want to use this brand new service. Look, you can see it's going up already, and this will go up to about 20 or 30 possibly. Right, so we've got another 2 vehicles. You can actually put the quantity, I've just got into the habit now from Transport Week 1 of pressing it twice, but you can put it in quantity, and that will buy 2 more buses. Put on another 2 of those, chuck them on, they'll go one way, the other one will go the other. What have we got down here at this bus stop? So we've got 10 people waiting already. What's this route doing? It's going round that. It's alright, that'll just have to do. What's going on now? We've got 11. So you can see now there's a rush to use this service, and that will go up, but it will eventually, people will go, well, there's not a bus turning up, so I'm not going to be using this service. So I guess we'll put on another 2 for now, another 2 buses, buy those, Richmond to Maidstone, and I think that should just be enough, I think, for that service. Actually, we're going to leave it like that, and that should turn a nice little profit. What we're looking at with the other ones, so we've got, yeah, they're all 50 is the lowest one, 97 is the highest one. What's going on here? So we've got people waiting, but there aren't a stupid number of people waiting, it's just a nice manageable number. So that is, I think, probably one of the easiest ways to make money is with bus routes, point-to-point bus routes from town to town, even with these slow little vehicles here, whatever they are. they will make money. 1904, I think a profit of let's see, 243,000 in 1904 isn't too bad. If you did that for a few years, you could start to really invest in trains and different things like that. So it is possible to make money with, I'm not saying that it's not possible to make money with your industries. It is, you just have to play it a little bit differently, and you have to be a bit more clever with the infrastructure that you actually build. So if we speed that up, let's see if we've gone through a quarter yet. Road 29, so we're looking about £3,000 per depot by the looks of it. So let's just, so we've got, how many depots we've got? I think we've got one, I think we've got two, so we've got 3 depots altogether now with that new one we've built. Let's just wait a minute and see what sort of money we're doing. Let's have a look at that. What's that done to the profit? The new route's obviously not going to be turning a profit yet, but it soon will be. We've already got maxed number of people carried, so let's see how many's waiting. 6 people waiting there. There's another one roughly on its way. You could possibly get away with another 2, but I'm not for now. I'm just going to leave it like that. But yeah, what was I saying before that? I was saying you can make money with industries, even with towns only accepting 2 products. You still can connect those up together. But I'm just finding with the limited playthrough that I've had so far, that buses seem to be a really good way of making money very quickly early on in the game without spending any money on infrastructure. Just use those roads that are already there. Keep your costs to a bare minimum. Make sure each of the buses is full going in and out. Get that balance, that equilibrium right with the passenger demand, and you should be golden. You should be starting to make good bit of profit each year. So I mean, these are quarters, aren't they? They're not years. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, we could easily be making we could easily be making £1 million a year in 1904, which isn't too bad considering I've started the game in 1900. You know, it is still possible to make money, but there's just new little things that you have to take into account, like the emissions and your station quality and things like that, just to grow the towns. But yeah, it is possible to make money, and this is just one of the quick and easy ways, especially if you're playing medium, if you're not playing with any of the mods like no cost or anything, and you do want to try and get some money rolling into your bank account fairly quickly. So I think that's it. I'm going to leave it there before I ramble on any more. Hope you found it useful. If you have, please hit the like button. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below, and I will try and get to those and answer any questions. Like I said, I haven't played a huge amount on this game yet, so I'm still learning, but I will endeavour to learn all I can and get that information out to you. So there, I'm going to leave it there for today, and I'm going to say until next time, bye bye.